Hello, everybody.
How did it take us this long to get to this game of all things?
Yeah, that is
It's very obscure, Jova. Nobody has ever played it until now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the
yeah.
second highest selling game of all time, Super Mario Brothers for the NES.
Okay, I actually forgot. What's the first?
Wii Sports.
Ah, right.
Wii
I
Sp-
thought it was Minecraft, then GTA 5.
the Minecraft surpassed it already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Minecraft.
Hold on. Since when were the dates that you took it from that Wii Sports was the highest selling?
Well, it was a years ago, but I haven't actually been keeping track with any new possible candidates. Like the last time I checked, it was Wii Sports, but obviously that was years ago, so it might have changed.
I'll check.
Well, the point is, Tail, for a long time it was the highest selling game of all time. Then it got surpassed by Wii Sports. Obviously, Wii Sports got that because of a technicality, because it was packaged with every single Wii, so every single Wii sale meant a Wii Sports sale.
It was very popular, with old folks, home and for children's, sports and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Nowadays, Minecraft's the highest selling.
All right, so the third highest selling game of all time, then. Okay.
Actually, nowadays.
No, this one. I mean, Super Mario Bros.
No. I mean, nowadays it's the fifth highest selling game behind PUBG Battlegrounds, Wii Sports, Tetris, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Minecraft.
Okay, then.
Oh wait, no, that's sixth highest.
Sure.
Selling, actually, the seventh highest selling is Mario Kart 8.
Where's
That-
Pokemon on that list?
Hey, I'm surprised.
It would be ninth.
Well, there you go then. All right, everybody. So,
Redemption 2 is 10.
all right, everybody knows this game, but for the sake of formalities, let's just go through this. Super Mario Brothers is a side-scrolling platformer that was, and this is, of course, Shigeru Miyamoto's magnum opus. This is the game, of course, that turned the NES into a phenomenon, especially in America. To the point where American kids were even recognizing Mario more than Mickey Mouse. And yes, before you say it, Joe, but yes, I realized that later with Sonic it became the same thing, but this was before Sonic, still. So.
Apologies to those who prefer the All-Stars version of this game, but we're going old school for now.
The reason I'm doing
Maybe in a later time or something, if a relook at this game, we might look at the 16-bit version.
I'm ahead of you, Jova. There's an extra part in this playthrough. Where was I? Yeah. Okay, the reason I'm doing the 8-bit version is because of two reasons. One, it's the one I grew up with, and second, let's face it, this is the most iconic one. Whenever Nintendo does reference this game, either in the games or in marketing, they always make service of the 8-bit version. Because let's face it, this is the big iconic version that turned Mario into an icon. So I can blame them.
I guess it's probably also because, technically Party All-Stars uses the art style from World anyway.
Not to mention, like for example, whenever people think about the ground theme of this game, aka the theme that is now known as the Super Mario theme, people immediately think, most people will think immediately to the 8-bit version because it's been reused and referenced so many times. Like, it's been remixed a million times. Again, people immediately think this version because, again, it's the one that's for example, back when Mario had its back when Super Mario Bros. Celebrated its 20th anniversary. They even made a small little retrospective of the games, and guess what? They made this little animation of Mario and Peach with a heart, because Mario is saying Mario saves Peach forever, and they used the 8-bit sprites to make that animation. Again, Nintendo knows that this is the one that people immediately think of.
Even for also Mario Odyssey doing the segment where you go
exactly.
They use 8-bit sprites.
Exactly. So.
One thing I do like, the manual for this game, since, obviously they only had these blocky looks here, you actually could get a look at what the characters were supposed to look like because they actually included official artwork in the instruction manual itself.
Very chunky back then.
So yeah,
yes, he was.
Everybody, we all know how this goes. Go from left to right, bump on enemies, and don't die. The worlds. They're not called levels. Technically, they're called worlds. This is World 1-4. At the fourth section of every world, there's a castle, a Bowser castle specifically, and you have to take down Bowser at the end.
Okay, so a bit of lore here. This is technically not actually Bowser you're facing.
Yeah.
It's not clear, but up until, you get to the final castle, these are actually minions who are disguised as Bowser. Now, unlike Super Mario 3D Land, it's not apparent. However, there are some tiny cues here, like, for instance, some tricks that won't work on the real Bowser do work on these fake Bowsers. Particular being...
No,
This
no.
was a Goomba.
I thought you were done going.
Oh, never mind. I guess they do show that.
Yeah, they do.
So if you actually defeat it with fireballs.
Go ahead, Whips.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in her castle.
Get ready to hear that line 6 more times.
Sorry, Mario, we're really not good at this.
Because, yeah, for the sake of showing off the game properly, I'm gonna do every single stage. I'm not going to use any warp zones.
Cool.
Oh, ho, ho.
Daring today, are we?
So we're going to do it.
Badass over here.
So we're going
Well,
to
if I used warp zones, the game would be over in one part too. So
Yeah. Actually, let me use this part to actually ask something. I know part of the development about this game, like why Mario is the way he is, because it was based around, like a person that was helping Miyamoto and the others.
yes, Mario Segali.
Having a shop around the same area that was an Italian immigrant.
Yes.
I don't know instead, how this came to be, because platformers around this was a pioneer for platforming genre in general at all. So, what gave the stimulus to Nintendo to at least give it a try to this?
Well, remember,
in particular was that Miyamoto was actually very creative, and he had sort of been kind of working his way up. Now, granted, it wasn't like, he was way up on top, but he had definitely made enough clout to the point where they finally let him direct his own game here. And, in typical developer fashion, he drew a lot of inspiration from his childhood in this game.
Not to mention technically...
Based off of the dogs that chased him as a child, dear lord, do I sympathize.
Wow, that's the Chain Chomp, but we haven't gotten to the Chain Chomp yet. But there's also the fact too that before this he made the original Donkey Kong, which was a gigantic arcade hit, and the original Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
So
The one with 4 men spy.
so those games were incredibly successful in the arcades. So by this point, Miyamoto was someone who could make successful games.
This was still the game industry recovering after the game crash of Atari, so it was still an uncertain time in general. That was a huge risk.
For a second there, Pedro, I thought you said Donkey Kong, and I'm like, what? Is he sending Mario to Horny jail now?
Alright.
Well, it's funny you mention that, Teal. Again, this all has to do with a case of build-up here. In classic fashion, Miyamoto started from the bottom, but then made it up towards. Again, not quite at the top by the time of the making of this game, but he was making his way up. One thing to keep in mind, the Nintendo precedent at that time was pretty flipping hardcore. How hardcore? Possible ties to the Yakuza.
Yeah, that's where the joke usually came from.
All right, let me talk about. And this is the underwater level. There's only a select couple of these in the game. So I guess even the developers themselves realized that this particular type of level wasn't exactly the best this game has to offer. So
I can only imagine.
We're underwater. How can we have fire?
SpongeBob logic.
Because reasons. Go on.
Also, I do wonder if there was at least one business meeting where they had to generally decide if they wanted to have an air meter or not, for the sake of simplicity, and ultimately decide no, because otherwise it would be the level would be too tedious.
Good call.
Alright, let me just talk about, because fortunately, one cool thing that Nintendo does is that on their official website they have archives of their old manuals, including the original American manual for this game. So let me read about the enemies. Little Goomba. It's not just Goomba apparently. According to the original US manual, it's Little Goomba. There's no big Goomba, so I don't know why they call him little, but whatever. A mushroom who betrayed the Mushroom Kingdom. One stomp and he dies. 100 points. Koopa Troopa, green. Yep. Soldier of the Turtle Empire. His orders are to find and destroy Mario. Jump on him and he stops moving for a while. Then Koopa.
So there you go, guys. It turns out the Goombas are traitors to the crown.
But that's not that hard to figure out. Anyway, Koopa Paratroopa Red. Sorry. Koopa Trooper Red. This turtle is chicken, very timid, he gets scared easily and runs back and forth a lot. Jump on him and he stops moving for a while. Then there's also the Koopa Paratroopers, which are basically the same but with wings.
Oh, Jesus.
There's the Busy Beetle, but we'll talk about the Busy Beetle later, as the enemies come up.
Watch out for those cheeps.
Yeah, might as well talk about the fish. The fish are called cheeps, usually found in water, but also sprouts wings and flies. Yeah, flies. So you have to be careful in the air too. So you can't be killed from above while she's in the water. So they're all female apparently.
Their trajectory is not as dickish as Medusa heads in Castlevania, but sometimes I showcased also before, a couple of seconds ago, they can blindside you if you're not careful, so watch out.
Indeed.
I will give them credit, though, they do actually have a pattern that you can keep track of, so, again, they are more fair than, some certain Castlevania folks.
So here's the fun thing about the story of this game, because both manuals have very different stories. So let me use legendsoflocalization.com where they have the stories for both games. Okay, so in the official English text, here's the basic story. One day, the kingdom of the peaceful mushroom people was invaded by the Koopa, a tribe of turtles famous for their black magic. The quiet, peace-loving mushroom people were turned into mere stones, bricks, and even field horsehair plants, and the mushroom kingdom fell into ruin. The only one who can undo the magic spell onto the mushroom people and turn them to their normal selves is the Princess Toadstool. Remember, this was back when the American localization named her Toadstool, but then they later reverted back to Peach. Because her name was always Peach in the Japanese version.
Which is weird, because certain artwork shows that she looked like a tiny mushroom head herself.
I'm guessing Miyamoto called her Peach because it sounds sweet, because she's supposed to be a sweet character or something, I don't know.
Okay, wait, which came out first, this or Face Off?
Not sure how that relates.
This came out before Face Off, since Face Off was a 90s flick.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a line that says peach, I can eat a peach for hours.
Alright, don't bother reading this, we've read this before. Anyway.
Fuck you, Mario!
Sure. So yeah, that's the Princess Toadstool, the daughter of the Mushroom King. Unfortunately, she is presently, by the way, she doesn't, as far as this game is concerned, she doesn't have a father, but she's still a princess, whatever. Unfortunately, she is presently in the hands of the great Koopa Turtle King. Yeah, this was actually, the Western Nintendo America had yet to come up with the Bowser name yet. Mario, the hero of the story, maybe, hears about the Mushroom People's plight and sets out on a quest to free the Mushroom Princess from the evil Koopa and restore the fallen kingdom to the Mushroom People. You are Mario. It's up to you to save the Mushroom People from the black magic of the Koopa. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You see all those blocks and bricks that I'm breaking right now? They're actually citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom, which means that Mario is committing murder every time he breaks a block.
Game theory, Mario is a psychopath.
Hold on, let me look into this.
Well, this is the American manual. Let's see what the Japanese original manual says. Because remember, the Japanese Mario was quite different at the time. Okay, so here's the translation of the Japanese manual. One day, the Koopa, a tribe of large turtles capable of using powerful magic, invaded the peaceful kingdom of the Mushroom People. They used their magic to transform all the Mushroom People into things like rocks, bricks, and horse. There you go, Deji. It's also in the Japanese manual. Thus causing the Mushroom Kingdom's downfall. The only one who can lift the spell on the Mushroom People and bring them back to life is the Mushroom Kingdom's Princess Peach. There you go. She is currently in the clutches of the great Demon King Koopa. So Bowser is actually a Demon King. Good to know.
We'll explain the horns.
Mario has stepped up to defeat the Turtle tribe. Yeah, basically in the unless we just call them the Koopa. Okay. This is actually, let me just take a break to talk about the multiplayer of Super Mario Bros. Unlike its Japanese sequel, Super Mario Bros. Has a 2-player mode. However, you don't actually have co-op in it. What you have is 2 players will alternate, and every time one of the player dies, the other one takes over, and he keeps playing until he or she dies, and then if he or she dies, the other player gets to pick up again. Player 1 plays as Mario, player 2 plays as Luigi. In this first Super Mario Bros. Game, Luigi is just a palette swap of Mario. He doesn't have his traditional, his now trademark higher jump and slippery feet. that will be...
The idea with multiplayer was essentially more so of a competition as opposed to collaboration here. Basically, you see who beats the game first.
As you can also see, in original Luigi, design was actually what is now known as his super form. Nowadays, Luigi, of course, has blue tires and the green shirt. However, as you can see, originally Fire Luigi looked just like Mario. Or rather, Fire Mario, sorry. So, yeah, there you go. Fun fact, in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, they called this form Super Mario. I guess somebody at Dick thought that it would make more sense for this to be Super Mario rather than the big Mario.
It's in the title, the Super Mario Brothers.
The same people thought that all the pasta jokes were the best form of comedy ever. So.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
Nope.
But yeah, the basic gist of it is that it was actually the Japanese sequel to this game, which is more commonly known as Lost Levels, that introduced the idea of Luigi having a higher jump and slippery feet. Oh, and here they are, the Hammer Brothers.
These assholes.
Everybody hates the Hammer Brothers. Let's read about them. These wily twin brother turtles come at you throwing hammers, and trust me, the Hammer Brothers are they're basically the slicers of this game. They're infamous for being incredible. Especially okay, if you have Fire Mario or Fire Luigi, they're simple to defeat. If you don't, however, you have to jump on them to defeat them, which, considering they throw hammers upwards, yeah. Also, there's an egg. There's an egg in that first step for some reason.
Let's just assume that Yoshi laid it. But hey, guys, if you love Hammer Bros, you're gonna love Super Mario Brothers 2: The Lost Levels.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one we're doing after this. So remember, Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, aka Super Mario Bros. 2, as it's known in Japan, was made before the American game. So
you're actually gonna play Lost Levels.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna play it fairly because I'm not insane and I'm not a masochist. Okay, asshole, you do it then. Wanna try recording that?
I think I thought that a couple of parts, a couple of months ago in another playthrough, I said that I wanted to give it a shot.
Oh, you want to give it? Well, you're still in time. You're still in time to.
This is not stuff that can be mentioned in commentary anyway. So moving on.
I've tried to play that game when it was on like WiiWare, I think it was. I managed to get past World 1, maybe. I can't remember the show, but after that, I just.
Okay, fine, Pedro. I'll do it.
Okay then.
The All-Stars version. You didn't say I can't.
Of course. Well, even that version is fun. See, the thing here, like Johnny said in his review, like some comment Johnny said in his review, the big problem with that game is that yes, it looks like Mario, plays like Mario, but the level design is just so dickish, you know. But whatever.
Put it like this. Lost Levels 2 is essentially what I like to call official Kaizo Mario. I mean, it's not as insane as Kaizo Mario, which is more about Kaizo Mario, but it will still drive you up a wall.
Remember, there's actually...
Maybe not as much as, like, Ghosts and Goblins, but it's in that hierarchy. There's actually level sections in that game that can actually get you stuck if you don't do things properly. I'm not even kidding. There's certain platforms that basically work as beginner traps. But again, I'll mention that myself when we get to that. With that lovely wind.
Oh god. Whatever. The point is, we're not there yet. For now, let's just continue reading the story. So yeah, like I was saying, the Great Demon Koopa. Mario has stepped up to defeat the Turtle Tribe. And unlike in the West, we called them Koopa, but in Japan they were originally known as the Turtle Tribe. So there you go. Koopa was taken.
Where the term Koopa actually comes from? Because you got.
Oh no, it comes from Japan too. It's just that the original term Koopa is because in the beginning, one day the Koopa, a tribe of large turtles. The thing too is that the name Koopa hadn't exactly caught on as the primary way of referencing them, because in the original Japanese, most of the time they reference them, they just say Turtle Tribe. So it's one of those things where the name Koopa was always there. It's just that it didn't quite become the household name that it is now. Save Princess Peach and restore Priest to the Mushroom Kingdom. The Mario inside the TV is you. Only you can bring this adventure quest expedition to a conclusion. Yeah. What they have here is only you can bring this adventure quest, and then there's a parenthesis with the word expedition in it. And I'm like, what? Whatever. The basic point is this. In Japan, even to this day, Bowser is known as King Koopa. However, Nintendo America thought that Bowser would sound scarier, I guess. I don't know.
I wonder what they did based on, because they seem to have some kind of logic in naming their characters, like Kirby, because they had a lawyer that saved their asses against the
Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, Kirby was, of course, a direct homage to that guy specifically.
Donkey Kong.
Wait, are you sure it's Jack Kirby? I thought that was the Marvel guy.
Yeah, Jack Kirby was the.
Oh no, sorry. What was his name then? I think it was something Kirby.
Kirby was his last name.
Yeah, it was some. It was some.
Wait. Are we talking about the guy who made the Kirby vacuum?
John Kirby.
cleaner?
Yeah, that's it, John Kirby. Okay, thanks, Dutch. Alright, so here's Lakitu. Let me just read about him. Lakitu, the mischievous turtle who controls the clouds. He chases after Mario and drops Spinny's eggs on top of him. And sometimes they also have a side job as cameraman for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They drop Spinies, and Spinies is Lakitu's pet, but a wild fighter. You can't kill him by jumping on top of him. Well, depends. If I have an invincibility star, I can. But, okay.
But with an Infinity Star, it's more collision rather than just directly jumping on them.
Alright. So yeah, World 4-1 is like this, basically. You meet Lakitu, and he spends the entirety of this level annoying you by dropping Spinies on top of you.
Yeah, it's showcase, even if you get rid of him, eventually he still respawns, and you want to respawn.
Yeah. He's the primary gimmick of this level, basically. And yeah, as you can see, everybody, the game is very basic in its design because, well, this was the first real major side-scrolling platformer that had a proper levels because there were platformers before this, but most of them were more arcadey in their design in the sense that they were more about points rather than actually reaching some kind of a conclusion.
Nintendo still did this because in Nintendo Power magazine even had an entire, set of contests about, make a photo about your points and send it to us, And
might as well get this out of the way right now. The soundtrack of this game is an iconic masterpiece that everybody knows. I mean, who doesn't know the ground theme to this game? I mean, Koji Kondo created right here in this very game some of the most iconic tunes in the history of video games, and yeah. I mean, to this
You know what I'm gonna say?
No matter how many times I hear them, I never get tired of them. Go on, Jova.
I'm gonna say something that might surprise some people. My favorite remix and version of this tune is the 8-bit remix in Odyssey, which adds in that nice little drum track.
Oh, sure.
to it.
Oh, sure. I love that one too. Yeah, basically. Alright, let's continue.
Reading the story in the manual that Pedro mentioned, specifically the American one, made me kind of wonder. Again, we're recording this still with the knowledge only of the first trailer of the upcoming, Illumination movie. But removing even for a second, the Power Stars and the Penguin Tribe that showed up in Mario 64, it seems that they might be wanting to go to the direction of the basicness plot of this first game. I actually do wonder. Again, we did mention that there's still a lot of speculation, so I'll just leave it there because, again, there's no real use into, wondering too much if we're gonna, do something different anyway.
Given that the Power Star was more so just a power-up and it wasn't like a main pickup until like 64,
yeah.
I'm wondering if mainly it's going to be taking more so cues from 64 mixed in a bit with the idea
Again,
there's still a lot to be seen, so we'll have to see.
Anyway, I showed you at the very least how the warp zones look. Basically, a lot of times whenever you're in an underground level, you can go above the level and actually reach a warp zone, and it takes you to an upcoming level. Basically, usually the primary speedrun tactic for this game is go for the warp zone in 1-2, so you can go straight to 4-1, then in 4-2, take the beanstalk into the air level so you can go to the warp, so that takes you to level 8-1, sorry, world, as this game puts them, 8-1. So, yeah. However, like I said, I wanted to showcase all the levels. That being said,
I won't use the warp pipe, I'll use a moon jump.
that
Invincibility.
well, that was mostly because I wanted to get through this particular part quickly. I think, if I remember correctly, I'm going to... Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to get back to the to where I was. I think, if I remember correctly, I'm going to turn them off after I get to 4-3.
But yeah, I can imagine the amazement even back in the day, you know, without stuff like the internet and only a handful of things like Nintendo Power, for people to actually discover this kind of secret and say, oh, if you do this specific action, you can see Mario walking alongside you on the scoreboard and everything, and people will say that you're crazy for saying something like that. Again, it's the joy of the creating a secret and having the joy of discovering it in all its particularity.
Hey, reminds me of the good old dream ship from Super Mario Bros. 3. Speaking of which, Pedro, will you be doing the,
Okay, isn't the gimmick with that is that it's like a one chance in a gajillion or something?
No. It's possible to get it, but there are a certain set of rules here.
Yeah, then like isn't it like it's a chance in 1 in a 3,000 or something? It's similar to the Mirage Island in Pokemon Gen 3.
And yeah, like you said, like you saw before, you can get fireworks show for you. So, go on.
But no, I mean, in terms of getting the dream ship, I believe it's possible to get it, you know, in a way that, you know, it's guaranteed, but it takes, like, some incredibly precise, instructions here. In fact, let's see here.
What
yes,
does the Mario Wiki says?
The treasure ship is a very rare occurrence of pure luck. However, here there are some steps. 1. You must be on world 1, 3, 5, or 6. Step 2. Keep at least one of the mini-bosses on the map alive, as it will turn into the ship upon reaching the criteria. Step 3. Your coin total must be a multiple of 11. In other words, 11, 22, 33, etc. Step 4. The 10 digits of your score must match that multiple of 11. Step 5. Lastly, clear the stage with your timer on an even number. Finally, and to step 6, if you do all this correctly, one of the mini-bosses on the map will turn into a treasure ship. Upon boarding, you are greeted with a ton of coins on multiple layers of the deck. At the end, into the pipe to engage in the mini-boss fight against 2 boomerang bros, which, yeah, those are fun to deal with. Defeating them rewards you with whatever item you would normally get from the mini-boss the ship replaces. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, like...
We'll go through one of those things.
Let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. The Dream Ship was one of those things that a lot of people probably would have thought would have been, oh, one of those nifty game theory things, but no, it's actually real. Like, I just want to know who on the dev team was sadistic enough to put in those very specific...
At the very least, the aforementioned Mirage Island in Pokemon Gen 3 at least gives you catchable wineouts and particular berries that you can harvest. This one doesn't seem even more than just bragging rights or accidental bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they wanted to make people think they were going insane by saying, I found the stream ship, but obviously most other people wouldn't have, so they would have thought that person was crazy.
Alright.
Alright, see you for the next part, everybody.
Yeah.